Ruben Amorim is under pressure at Manchester United, and with United lying in 14th place after a 15th place finish last season, there can be no surprise about it. After the City defeat, papers have been speaking about United backing Amorim. Others have started throwing player leak stories out again. I haven't seen this before. So I want to get a hold of everything. I've got something important to say about Amorim and his future at United. Now let's get on with it and answer me this question in the comments. What is your position on Amorim and why? So we're 4 games into the season and we're talking about sacking another Manchester United manager. Just remain patient. It'll be calm down, man. You can't just say remain patient after we finished 15th last season and we're now 14th this season. I understand exactly why there are so many of you that feel justified in saying that. Now, I want to give you my opinion in this video, all right? I've covered everything in the live show today. I'm going to run through the reports. I'm going to say what I think Ruben Amorim's got right. I'm going to say what he's definitely bloody got wrong. And also what I think happens next, all right? You can let me know what you think in the comments below. Please do. So, Ruben Amorim. I think it's fair to say that the clear message from the club is that he is not going to be sacked. All right, everything that was reported yesterday, this is Sky Sports saying United are going to be remaining patient from Rob Dorsett. You've got Mike Keegan from the Daily Mail. United have no plans to sack Amorim. You've got Simon Stone from the BBC saying, look, Amorim's a long-term project. United have got no intention of moving him on. You also got the Telegraph reporting it too. You've got others all saying the same thing. The Ruben Amorim is going nowhere. So the first thing I would say is, kind of no matter how loud you get, no matter what's being said in the media or by the fans, Ineos have no intention of replacing Ruben Amorim right now. I know there's going to be a lot of you that think that's the wrong decision. You know, the one thing I think Amorim has got right so far, and this isn't me clutching at straws, it really isn't. And I go back to sort of that video I did there on Sporting, in his first summer at Sporting, the players that he got rid of, and the fact that he was able to fix Sporting in one summer. It wasn't hyperbole, that video. He was. They won the title in his first season. I think he got that right in terms of the players he's ostracised and the clear out that's actually happened. I think no matter what happens, from a cultural perspective, that has put United in better stead moving forward. But you'll also remember that I said Manchester United last season finishing 15th. It was unthinkable. Absolutely unthinkable. Losing the Europa League final was not unthinkable. It was sort of expected a little bit. But I said after last season that coming into this season, United fans aren't going to have as much patience because we finished 15th. Therefore, the results are going to have to come. And right now, after the Arsenal game, yeah, sure, we should have won that game, but we didn't. We lost 1-0. Fulham, we could have and should have scored 2 in that first half. We didn't, though, and we drew 1-1. That game against Burnley should have been so much easier than it was, but it needed a 97th minute Bruno penalty to win it. And then City, we got absolutely demolished. And to quote David Beckham there, we are all fed up at that. No one, even the most optimistic of United fans, was expecting Amorim to pull up trees and United to be a complete team at the start of the season. But to go and play how we did against City, it was embarrassing. Past the first 15 minutes where United had the opportunities to create chances and we ballsed them up, just like we have done so often before, we got completely outplayed. Now, from this point on, right, this is an article from Carl Anker saying, look, Ruben Amorim has said he's not going to be changing. So what happens next? I think there's only 2 things that can happen next from a perspective of Manchester United improving. And you might say this is obvious, but it really is because it was Man United's strategy going into the season. I'm going to be speaking about the midfield next. We need to score more goals. If we score more goals, everything else not gets a pass, but there's less scrutiny, there's less pressure on absolutely everything else at this football club if you simply score more goals. But this system, I think if Ruben Amorim doesn't get this team to score more goals and doesn't change this system, then I think he will be sacked. And I think that will be the right decision. Because it's one of those 2 things that are going to help pull United out of this current position that we're in. Wayne Rooney speaking about it here. And I'm going to do like a tactical video tomorrow. I've already explained this. On the tweak, I think, that could happen to bring 3 into midfield and move away from 2 in midfield. Because, Ruben, mate, it is not working. 14th last season. 15th last season. Currently 14th this season. It is not working. There is enough evidence now. This isn't a knee-jerk reaction. We can clearly see it. But everything that's being suggested and reported from inside United is that Ineos are supporting Amorim and have no intention of replacing him. Do I think that's the right decision right now? Yes, I think I do, currently. But I'm waning. I'm really, really waning. I've said this before. Like, I know that I got the Ten Hag supporting decision wrong. Well aware of that. I've lost faith in Manchester United's two-man setup under Amorim. That's what I've lost faith in. I think if he doesn't change that, he's going to get sacked. I'm not saying throw it out the window. I'm saying tweak it. Maybe tweak it until you do have the two perfect players. But it kind of needs the two perfect players to play it because it's such a physically demanding thing to have two in midfield in a system where you're playing against teams that majority of them have three, maybe even four in midfield. Chelsea play with a 3-4-3 diamond. That's how Maresca sets up. He's going to overload our midfield unless we switch up, unless we get an extra body in there. That is an absolute given, a guarantee, because you know how Maresca is going to set up and he knows the weaknesses. Because you just have to look at how United played against City to see how those weaknesses can be exposed. But Ruben Amorim has said he's not going to change. If he is going to be so stubborn as to just religiously stick to a rigid to it, because I've always said how there is flexibility in Amorim's tactics, because I always look at the wing backs. If you want to sit deep and defensive, you drop them back. You go into a back five. You want to play forward and aggressive, you push them forward, you play with the back three, and then you've got loads of attackers. And I think that is flexibility. But from the midfield perspective, I mean, look, Glasner plays with a 3-4-3 system, right? But it works there. What's different? Is it the personnel? You can go so far as to say the personnel are not suited, but they aren't suited at United. There are compromises. And the fact that there are compromises, and the fact that we can't, doesn't matter who you play in midfield, it just won't work in a two system right now, Ruben, so change it. Right? Because if you don't change it, I think you will get sacked. I think you probably will deserve to get sacked. Because there's so much evidence now to show that this, in its current form, where we are right now, in this Project 150, whatever you want to call it, this midfield 2 is not going to work. Right now, I wouldn't want United to sack Ruben Amorim. But I've lost faith in the midfield too. I think Ruben Amorim's got to tweak. And I think if he doesn't tweak and he just keeps ploughing down this dead-end road, it feels like a dead-end road. Like he'll go back and say that the Arsenal game was an example of when it worked. And I would say to a certain point, but in that second half, Arsenal just kind of sat and defaulted, didn't they? They sat deep, and then United had so much more of the ball. We had opportunities against Fulham, but yeah, score more goals, man. That's down to the players. Finish your chances. But down to the manager, I think, is to switch up that midfield, drop one of the number 10s to be deeper, bring a midfield 3, and make everyone else's job easier. That's my take on it. I wouldn't sack him right now. And I'm sure there's many of you that would disagree with that.